So now what you want to do, where you always want to start, and again, these are all resources for you, but you always want to start by coming to the Career Training Certification Placement, because that's what we're doing. Certification programs, that's what we're doing. SalesForce, that's what we're currently working on. And you'll see that this is the home button to get to all the different ones offered. So let's go right there. And you'll land where they all are located. And of course, we're on the Salesforce Designer, in which case 122,000 plus per year, all really great metrics. It's in high demand, many job postings for it. These are all good things. So let's go to the trail. Now for today, we're going to be doing the first 3 modules. And as you can see, this says it'll be approximately 20 minutes. The next one says it'll be approximately 20 minutes, so far 40. And the next one says it'll be approximately, didn't I just go to that one? Hold on, I did. And the next one says it will be about an hour and 5 minutes. So an hour and 45 minutes. Now that's how long it takes that they're recommending that it would take to read all of this. Now what I had done is I had read all of it, and then I synthesized what I believe to be the 10 most relevant or highly probable questions for the certification, along with the 10 answers. Now I did receive help, so I do want you to know that you can have confidence in it. We have checked it, the answers are correct. So obviously that's quite important. You don't want to learn the wrong answers. But we do have a contact that actually is in charge, or one of them, in creating the certifications, the examinations. Now, that's not to be confused with that they go ahead and give us questions. Like, that's illegal, right? That's not happening. But in terms of how the questions are crafted, what patterns exist in the Salesforce tutorials and learning guides that they're offering, that is something that they're willing to help us with. So by sharing that information with us, we're able to actually use at least the line of thinking that the test creator is using, in which case we were able to really, really feel quite strong that we have the 10 best questions. Now, what you'll find also before we get started, and we're just going to go back to the first one, in user adoption metrics, is this is a really short, really short. There's not much there, right? So to go ahead and get 10 questions out of this is almost like, okay, would you get 1 question per sentence? But no, you can gather many questions off a limited amount of contents because, all right, well, this surmises this, but infers this, which could equal this. Let's go ahead and ask that question because, again, Salesforce is an engagement platform, right? People are using it. They have to have some type of problem solving, especially with design. You're trying to make the great user interface. So we're able to go ahead and kind of put a little bit together in terms of our own thinking. So that's this. Now, what I would like for you to also do as well, or at least I could walk you through it. Now we're going back to our hub. Is also here. You'll see that below it says create flashcards. Now this is the software that we're using. It's called Cram, and what's really great about it is that it's completely free. This is the desktop version. This is the mobile version. So you would create a login. I had done so. Well, actually, let's just do it together, right? So you come to Cram. Am I already logged in? So let's go to create flashcards. Let's add. You don't need to click it. So you go ahead and create it. So let's say it's flashcard A, subject A, description A, flashcard A. Now let's go to create set. Okay, it's going to show me what the flashcards look like. So click or press spacebar to begin. Now flashcard A is A. Now we can click to flip it, and the answer is A, right? Because we did A and A. So what's the next flashcard? A, next flashcard A, next, and it goes back to the first one. So we love this so much, we would like to create those flashcards, right? Well, actually, we're there. So let's go back. So we have all of that. Finish and create. Aren't we just there? Okay. As I said, share. Oh, so it's already there. So we have it, right? So we can go to memorize. It has a couple of games here. Test. Here's the cards. And you see, you could get correct and games, right? You could have games as well. So we had done all this, and I guess what I would, oh, see, I am signed in. That's why it did that. For you, it would prompt you to create a username and login. All right, so let's exit out of that. And then I could bring us to where we actually created the flashcards before. Send cards in the set. All right. And like I said, I went through all of the curriculum already and created the flashcards for you. So what we're going to do is the first time we go through this, it'll be almost as if you're reading it, right? So you're not going to know any of the answers because we didn't read or you didn't read the content. But rather than reading the content, instead we're reading the questions and answers. So we're learning in the format of questions and answers. And the reason we do that is because the test is in the format of questions and answers. So to go ahead and learn in the format of reading and then apply it in the format of questions and answering is not natural, which means in the theory, or at least the logic of being a good test taker, it would behoove you to learn in the format that the test is offered. Now, of course, if you go ahead and create your own flashcards, you're going to, by definition, be learning in terms of reading and then converting to flashcards. By me doing the reading for us and just offering you the flashcards, it allows you to be, I don't want to say siloed or hostage, those are bad connotations, but you're forced to learn it in the format of the test, which is very good. So let's go ahead and get started. So I have them all here. I would like to see, and again, I'm using this for the first time today, so 10 cards in the set. So I want to see all of them, right? So 10 cards in the set, share, export. I'm so sorry this is taking a second. The reason I say that is because I uploaded a whole bunch of questions. I don't know why they're only giving me 10. And I know this is taking a second. I'll cut it out of the video, but I just want to. So I have it right over here. So copy. And it's good because we get to learn this together. So when you go ahead and do flashcards, you're like, oh, I remember doing that because I saw that Dodo Anthony do it. All right, so copy and paste your data. Okay. All right. So we have 74 questions, it looks like. Okay. All right. So import data. All right. So I think we got it. What's this here? Get out of here. All right. So we did import data. We have it all right there. So we need, okay. So we did import data. It's all right here. Oh, come on. Let's clean this up a little bit. I'm so sorry that you have to be a part of watching this. Okay, 81 cards in this set. Lovely, and we have them all right here. And you know, you can always tell when a site is free because you get all these ads all over the place, which, God bless. This is how they do things, and that's fine. All right, so we could click space. I want to see if we could get this to be larger, right? Okay. So what do we have? So the first card, and again, we want to make sure that we're doing it correctly because again, anytime that you decide that you want to learn something, it would be the best case to learn the correct stuff. So we have 81 cards. We're going to go through these 81 cards twice. At the end of this, I'll go ahead and make sure that now that it's all perfect, we'll send it over to you in the follow-up email. And then tomorrow and every day thereafter will be a larger amount of set. So 80 questions today is let's just get our feet wet. Starting tomorrow, we'll start getting into roughly 150 questions a day. And again, if we go through it 3 times, let's say we do each question's about 10 seconds. Well, that's a lot of math. But and only because time works differently. It's 60 seconds per minute, not multiples of 10. Okay, so we have it. So next question, what are some metrics used to measure end user adoption of Salesforce? Login rates, record creation or record creation. I guess it's record creation, record updates, opportunities created in the last 30 days, activities completed in the last 30 days, data created or updated in the last 30 days, and login rate over the last 7 days. So in fact, let's do it twice. Instead of going through it twice, we'll just read each card twice. What are some metrics used to measure end user adoption of Salesforce? Login rates, record creation, record updates, opportunities created in the last 30 days, activities completed in the last 30 days, data created or updated in the last 30 days, login rate over the last 7 days. Question, what is the best way to assess user satisfaction? The most common way to assess user satisfaction is through a survey or a formal business process review. Question, what is the best way to assess user satisfaction? Answer, the most common way to assess user satisfaction is through a survey or formal business process review. Question, what is the adoption dashboard from AppExchange? Answer, the adoption dashboard from AppExchange is a tool that provides metrics around usage and data creation. Question, what is the adoption dashboard from AppExchange? Answer, the adoption dashboard from the AppExchange is a tool that provides metrics around usage and data creation. Question, what is the data quality dashboard from AppExchange? Answer, the data quality dashboard from AppExchange is a tool that helps to measure data quality for users. Question, what is the data quality dashboard from AppExchange? Answer, the data quality dashboard from AppExchange is a tool that helps measure data quality for users. Question, what is SalesForce Surveys? Answer, SalesForce Survey is a feature available for an additional fee in some editions that allows users to store and analyze survey data directly within Salesforce. Question, what is SalesForce Surveys? Answer, SalesForce Surveys is a feature available for an additional fee in some editions that allow users to store and analyze survey data directly within Salesforce. Question, how can Chatter be used to collect user feedback? Answer, Chatter can be used to collect feedback and create discussions around how Salesforce is working for users. Chatter polls can also be used to ask users how things are going at different stages of their Salesforce adoption. Question, how can Chatter be used to collect user feedback? Answer, Chatter can be used to collect feedback and create discussion around how Salesforce is working for users. Chatter polls can also be used to ask users how things are going at different stages of their Salesforce adoption. Question, what should be tracked to measure data quality? Answer, data accuracy and completeness should be tracked to measure data quality. Question, what should be tracked to measure data quality? Answer, data accuracy and completeness should be tracked to measure data quality. Question, how often should adoption dashboards be reviewed? Answer, adoption dashboards should be reviewed at least once a month. Question, how often should adoption dashboards be reviewed? Answer, adoption dashboards should be reviewed once a month. Question, oh, we already went to that one. Question, what are some early indicators of success in SalesForce? Answer, login rates, record creation, and record updates are some early indications of success in SalesForce. Question, what are some early indicators of success in SalesForce? Answer, login rates, record creation, and record updates are some early indicators of success in Salesforce. Okay, now that means we completed our first set because I know I put them in tens. So what I would like to do, I'm going to log back in here. We go back to our certification programs, go back to Salesforce. Let's pull it up. Now, everything we just did was a user adoption metrics. And it was the first one, measure Salesforce usage. So, what's the word I'm looking for? So conceivably, we could probably scroll down and answer these questions. What are some early indicators of success when measuring user adoption of Salesforce? Login rates and ROI increase? I don't remember anything about ROI increase. Login rates and record updates? I remember this one. Record updates and ROI increase. Again, this is along the lines of how to be a good test taker. We know ROI increase was nowhere. We did not see it one place. So we can get out of A, X out of C, and know immediately it's either B, D, or E. And we don't even know D and E, but we know B seems pretty likely so far. Trailhead usage and record updates. Do you remember anything about trailhead usage? I don't. So I can get rid of it. And again, I don't want to harp on it too much, but I do need you to understand that the way this curriculum is created is for your benefit. By me taking the step to do all of the work for you, and I don't mean that in terms of I'm working and you're not, but getting all the minutia out of the way that you never even have the opportunity to go through it. So for instance, you would be we're learning this on Trailhead. You would be reading Trailhead to go ahead and get this information, which then when you would get to this question, it might confuse you to say Trailhead usage. I'm on Trailhead. I know I just read something and Trailhead was there, so it has to be a part of it. But because I read it first and then took only the questions, Trailhead doesn't even come into your head, meaning you know right away D is not the answer as well. And if Trailhead isn't the answer, if D is not the answer for Trailhead, well then E is the same thing. So I'm pretty confident that B is the correct answer. Number 2, which of these describes good data quality? Data volume, I don't remember that. Data completeness, I don't remember that. Data accuracy, I do remember that. Now here's a problem. It's A and B and B and C. I also said I didn't remember either one of these. Now I could access my brain though. Which of these describes good data quality? Now does volume describe quality? No, it's quantity versus quality, right? So we know volume is not a precursor to quality. Completeness, is that a precursor to quality? Yeah, it is. If it's complete, it's better quality. And accuracy, duh, right? So B and C. Which of these should you avoid when assessing user satisfaction? Distributing a survey? No, we've read that survey is a good thing. Formal business process review? I do remember something about that. I'm unsure. Ignoring user feedback? Which of these should you avoid when assessing user satisfaction? So think about the question. It's almost like a double negative. If you want to assess user satisfaction, what should you not do, right? Like what should you avoid? And ignoring user feedback seems like something you'd want to avoid. Chatter poll, chatter collaboration. So right away, you can see 4 of these things are good. You would want to use that in assessing user satisfaction. One of them, you would not. Now let's take a step back from the question. It does not matter what the question is. So say, for instance, we got rid of the question, right? We have no idea what it says. We can take a look at just the answers and see 4 are something and 1 is something else. When answering a question, if there's only one option that is correct, and you can assess the answers to know only one option is different than the others, we could feel quite confident that that's the correct answer. Hey! We got them all. And now, what you can very clearly see is I've never taken this test before. Hence, I'm taking it with you. And what you could also clearly see is that the work we did in building the flashcards was vindicated, right? Once we build that confidence in knowing, okay, great, the flashcards are a really valuable resource, then by the time we get to that last week where we say the 4 or 5 hours a day of just doing flashcards, imagine walking into a test with the exact confidence that we just had. That's really cool, right? So tackle the next unit. Now track business outcomes, and this is what this is. Now we don't want to read any of this. I have no interest in reading any of this. Well, because I read it like 1,000 times, but you should have no interest in reading it. So let's continue. So this next card, the front is question, the back is answer. Okay, that means we're on the next topic. Question, what are some metrics used to measure end user adoption of Salesforce? Login rates, record creation, record updates, opportunities created in the last 30 days, activities completed in the last 30 days, data created or updated in the last 30 days, and login rates over the last 7 days. Now, that was also the same with the first go around. What are some metrics used to measure end user adoption of Salesforce? Login rates, record creation, record updates, opportunities created in the last 30 days, activities completed in the last 30 days, data created or updated in the last 30 days, and login rates over the last 7 days. Next. What is the best way to assess user satisfaction? The most common way to assess user satisfaction is through a survey or formal business proposal process review. What is the best way to assess user satisfaction? The most common way to assess user satisfaction is through a survey or formal business process review. Now, I'm remembering these questions. Is it possible that we doubled up on them? Okay. Stop. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm so sorry that happened. Okay, so it looks like that would be question 21, maybe? So let's continue. Okay, so it seems like I uploaded them twice. And that's a good thing because A, we're going to correct that. And when you receive the follow-up email, that will be solved. Okay, so let's, it's not the worst thing to read something 4 times, right? Let's keep going. What is the value of keeping an eye on the quality of Salesforce data? Keeping an eye on the quality of Salesforce data ensures that the organization utilizes Salesforce to its full potential. Question, what is the value of keeping an eye on the quality of Salesforce data? Answer, keeping an eye on the quality of Salesforce data ensures that the organization utilizes Salesforce to its full potential. What are some key questions and associated success metrics used to measure business outcomes? Answer, year-to-date sales, quarter-to-date sales, opportunity win-loss ratio for current and previous year, new business pipeline, pipeline by owner, lead conversion rates by source, accounts with no activities in the last 90 days. Question, what are some key questions and associated success metrics used to measure business outcomes? Answer, year-to-date sales, quarter-to-date sales, opportunity win-loss ratio for current and previous year, new business pipeline, pipeline by owner, lead conversion rates by source, and accounts with no activities in the last 90 days. Question, what is the purpose of Getting Started workbook? Answer, the Getting Started workbook is used to outline what is important for a company, the key questions to be answered, and the associated metrics to track in Salesforce. Question, what is the purpose of the Getting Started workbook? Answer, the Getting Started workbook is used to outline what is important for a company, the key questions to be answered, and the associated metrics to track in Salesforce. Question, where can you find pre-made dashboards? Answer, pre-made dashboards can be found on the App Exchange. Now, App Exchange, we learned that in the last chapter. Question, where can you find pre-made dashboards? Answer, pre-made dashboards can be found on the App Exchange. Question, what should you do prior to installing a dashboard in production? Answer, it is recommended to install the dashboard in a sandbox environment or developers org to explore it prior to installing it in production. And real quick, I'd just like to share, sandbox environment is their verbiage for kind of like a playground, a safe place where you could go ahead and test things. So it kind of is like a beta, so you could mock up what would happen and test what would happen before ever going live. Question, what should you do prior to installing a dashboard in production? Answer, it is recommended to install the dashboard in a sandbox environment or developer or org, which is short for organization, to explore it prior to installing it in production. Question, what should you do once the dashboards are ready? Answer, communicate their availability to stakeholders for review and feedback, and consider holding informal training sessions to show people how to use them. Question, what should you do once the dashboards are ready? Answer, communicate their availability to stakeholders for review and feedback, and consider holding informal training sessions to show people how to use them. Question, what should you ask end users to validate user adoption? Answer, is the training preparing them to do their job using SalesForce? Does the feedback process create engagement and trust? Do they feel supported? Are the right business outcomes being measured? Question, what should you ask end users to validate user adoption? Now, let's take a second. Let's define some of this stuff. End user means your customer, and validate user adoption meaning, do you understand what's going on here, right? Is this process working for you? What are the things that would allow us to know? What are the questions we could ask them to find those answers? Answer, is the training preparing them to do their job using Salesforce? Does the feedback process create engagement and trust? Do they feel supported? Are the right business outcomes being measured? Question, what is the purpose of testing user experience? Answer, testing user experience is used to validate user adoption and ensure the training strategy, feedback and support processes, and success metrics are working for end users. Question, what is the purpose of testing user experience? Answer, testing user experience is used to validate user adoption and ensure the training strategy, feedback and support processes, and success metrics are working for end user. Question, what is the purpose of installing the dashboard in a sandbox environment or developer org? Answer, installing the dashboard in a sandbox environment or developer org is used to explore it prior to installing it in production. Question, what is the purpose of installing the dashboard in a sandbox environment or developer org? Answer, installing the dashboard in a sandbox environment or developer org is used to explore it prior to installing it into production. Question, what should you do to customize dashboards? Answer, customize the dashboards and underlining reports to meet business needs and delete them if they don't. Question, what should you do to customize the dashboards? Answer, customize the dashboards and underlining reports to meet business needs and delete them if they don't. Question, and then we're going to go to the testing because I did 10 for each, and I know we started on 21. Actually, if you started on 21, by 22, you're at 2. So 21, 22. Yes. It's funny how that math works. Like 21 to 31 is really 11 questions because you got to count the first one. So I think we went through them all. So let's go ahead and see if we can answer some questions. Now, we're not reading any of this. You're not reading any of it. I'm not, well, I already did, but what are examples of how you can measure business performance in Salesforce? Opportunity win-loss ratio. I think we read that, yeah. Number of active licenses, I don't remember reading that. Lead conversion rates, I do remember reading that. So A and C. What should you avoid doing when downloading an App Exchange dashboard? Informal training sessions to learn how to use dashboards. Now, again, this is one of those double negatives, right? What should you avoid doing when downloading App Exchange dashboard? So we're looking for something you don't want to do, something that unambiguously is a bad idea. Informal training sessions to learn how to use the dashboard. I think that's a good thing, right? You should learn. Installing the dashboard in a developer org. Well, I don't know, right? We got to see. Deleting dashboards if they don't fit your needs. Okay, you shouldn't have dashboards if they don't work. Installing the dashboard immediately into your production instance. Uh-oh. Anytime you see something that's like doing something immediately, take a step back and realize Salesforce in no way, shape, or form is going to offer you a question with an answer that's not a Boy Scout answer. And what I mean by that is there's nothing in the Boy Scout world where they would say, yeah, just jump into that river. Don't worry about the sharks. Just do it. No big deal. So right away, I do believe D is probably the answer. And also because now that we think about it a little bit more, Where is the App Exchange dashboard, right? Weren't they recommending something where we put it into something to test it out? I remember them saying we should test something, so installing immediately is not a good answer. Communicating the availability of the dashboard to stakeholders. No, I'm going to go with D. Woohoo! So look at that. You've got a nice shiny new badge. Now tell the world about it. How helpful is this badge? So again, this goes back to the support system that we want to build with them. So very helpful. And let's not be shy. Let's go ahead and share it with everyone. I have a Twitter login, and now I can tweet it. And remember, we're following people from Salesforce, and maybe they followed us back or whatnot. I'm sure this has hashtags because Salesforce is now wants to use us, not use us, but hey, if this person wants to go ahead and share what they have accomplished, let's allow other people to see it, and maybe they would like to share it as well. Point being, that support system that we talked about building in Salesforce, now that we start taking action and we're passing tests, that support system starts looking at us like, oh, all right, they're a serious person. Let's, keep up with them. So I guess we could X out of this. They're telling us what they believe is next. All right, so we can go back. We can go back. We can go back. And the next section, and see, nice check mark. How cool is that? Is user creation. Well, I'm going to actually chapstick because my mouth's getting dry, and I'm going to drink some water. I don't know how professional, people do all this stuff where they have like the videography. I'm a normal person. We're going to get the job done. I'm sorry that I drank water in front of you, right? Okay. User creation, user story creation. So let's go back to our flashcards. So what are some common categories of dashboards to start with? So I want to make sure that we're at the right thing because I believe we are. Yeah, okay, it looks that way. What are some common categories of dashboards to start with? Answer, Salesforce CRM dashboards, sales activity dashboards, service and support dashboards. Question, what are some common categories of dashboards to start with? Answer, Salesforce CRM dashboards, sales activity dashboards, and service and support dashboards. Question, what is a user story? Answer, user stories are simple descriptions of a feature told from the user's point of view. Question, what is a user story? Answer, user stories are simple descriptions of a feature told from a user's point of view. Question, what are the benefits of user stories? Answer, utilizing user stories helps save time when prioritizing the development and implementation of requirements and functionality. Focus on how a project can deliver value back to the customer and user. Avoid restrictions that occur when specification details are defined too early on. Increase collaboration and transparency within the project team, and deliver features and products that users actually need and assist in testing solutions. Question, what are the benefits of user stories? Answer, utilizing user stories helps save time when prioritizing the development and implementation of requirements and functionality. Focus on how a project can deliver value back to the customers and user. Avoid restrictions that occur when specification details are defined too early on. Increase collaboration and transparency within the project team. And deliver features and products that users actually need and assist in testing solutions. Question, what are the three components of a user story? Answer, the three components of a user story are the who, what, why. Question, what are the three components of a user story? Answer, the three components of a user story are the who, what, and why. Question, what is the format of a user story? Answer, the format of a user story is as a who, I want what, so that why. Question, what is the format of a user story? The format of a user story is as a who, I want what, so that why. You're never going to forget that. All right, let's keep going. Question, in what methodology are user stories used? Answer, user stories are used within the Agile methodology. What is the Agile method? In what methodology are user stories created or used? User stories are used within the Agile methodology. All right, I'll take your word for it. What is the purpose of a user story? The purpose of a user story is to explain the roles of users in a Salesforce system. their desired activities, and what they intend to accomplish. What is the purpose of a user story? The purpose of a user story is to explain the roles of users in a SalesForce system, their desired activities, and what they intend to accomplish. Question: how can user stories help deliver features and products that users actually need? User stories help by providing a synopsis of the requirements to ensure that the features and products being delivered are actually what the user needs. Question: how can user stories help deliver features and products that the users actually need? Answer: user stories help by providing a synopsis of requirements to ensure that the features and products that are being delivered are actually what the user needs. Question: what can flawed user stories lead to? Answer: flawed user stories can set the project up for failure as the project progresses. Question: what can flawed user stories lead to? Answer: flawed user stories can set the project up for failure as the project progresses. Question: how can user stories be used to assist in testing solutions? Answer: user stories can be used to provide a synopsis of the requirements to ensure that the solutions being tested are meeting the user's needs and expectations. Question: how can user stories be used to assist in testing solutions? Answer: user stories can be used to provide a synopsis of the requirements to ensure that the solutions being tested are meeting the user's needs and expectations. Question: what is the most important part of writing successful user stories? Answer: the most important part of writing successful user stories is to ensure that each part of the user story is equally important and none should be overlooked. Question: what is the most important part of writing successful user stories? Answer: the most important part of writing successful user stories is to ensure that each part of the user story is equally important and none should be overlooked. Okay, so I think that's this. Learn about user stories. Okay, so we're doing right. Good. Let's not read any of this. Get out of here. Now, mind you, I just want to point something out. I created 10 questions out of this. Is it fair to say that those 10 questions and the way we did it, now, of course, we're watching me read it and blah, 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 but it is conceivable that you could be on a beach somewhere and just going through it. In fact, you could be on the app and leave it on audio, and it goes and goes and goes. So there's many ways that you could do it quite comfortably, but is it fair to say those 10 questions should at the very least make us supremely prepared for what these questions are? In fact, I have no idea what these questions are, but if we get one of these wrong, then I'm like a complete do-to-do, right? So let's go. Quiz: what does the what in user story describe? So it's who, what, why. Okay. So let's do this again. What was it? It was, I'm the who trying to do what for why. So the what is the feature, so the user's goal. Yeah. So I'm the who trying to do what, right? So that's my goal. And why. Why I'm doing it is a different thing, right? The feature the user needs. The limitations place, definitely not limitations. Nothing's limiting me. The user's perspective. No, because that would be the who. So this is one of those questions that's a little tricky. And if I get this wrong, after saying if I get one wrong, I'm going to be really disappointed. What's one thing user stories help you do? Ensure all specifications and details are listed at the beginning of the project? I think so. Decrease the need for collaboration. Again, this is a Boy Scout question. SalesForce and no major Fortune 500 company will ever give you an answer that is correct, that in the answer is the suggestion is that you should do less work. Yeah, talk to your team less. That's the answer. Never, ever in a million years. So we can take B and throw it out a window. Add restrictions that avoid future mistakes. There's no part of the creative process that you can avoid in the future. So to add restrictions, you don't know what you don't know. So that would not be the answer. Focus on customer and end user success. That's a big deal. What's one thing user stories help you do? So we're looking at A and D. So how do we decide which one? Ensure all specifications and details are listed at the beginning of the project. Well, now we could take a look. Is that a Boy Scout answer? Will you ever know every specification and every detail at the beginning of a project? I don't think so. But if we focus on the customer and end user success, well, then we could build accordingly. So C and D. Now, the reason I Now, the reason I say all this out loud and share the thinking process is twofold. Kind of making an example, right? Whether you're by yourself or not, you should be doing this because as you think out loud, as we like to call it, you're exercising your brain. You're exercising the neuroplasticity of your ability to memorize, remember, or logically think through these questions. And in doing so, there will be questions down the road that will require to access that neuroplasticity, which is kind of like a muscle memory, in which case that question is going to be phrased in such a way, or it's going to be patterned in such a way that by doing it this way, your brain will access back, oh, I remember talking that through, and that led to that, bing, 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 bing. That's how I got this answer. Again, we did not read any of this. I read it, but I'm not answering questions in any likeness that I don't think you could do equally, right? So let's continue. So quiz complete, we got 100 points. So the next unit is construct a user story, right? Okay, constructing a user story. So we don't want to read that. We're too cool for that. What are the key questions to ask when measuring business outcomes? How is my team tracking with sales? Do I have sufficient pipeline? What is the quality of my leads? Are we remaining engaged with our customers? Question, what are the key questions to ask when measuring business outcomes? How is my team tracking with sales? Do I have a sufficient pipeline? What is the quality of my leads? Are we remaining engaged with our customers? Question, what are some sample success metrics associated with these key questions? Answer, oh my God, are we doing this again? Hold on a sec. Wait a second. All right, the next question is getting started workbook. We're gonna have to figure something out. Okay, so let's just read this again. What are some sample success metrics associated with these key questions? Year-to-date sales, quarter-to-date sales, opportunity win-loss ratio for current and previous year, new business pipeline, pipeline by owner, lead conversion rates by source, and accounts with no activities for less than 90 days. Where can you find excellent dashboards to help you measure business outcomes? The App Exchange. Where can you find excellent dashboards to help you measure business outcomes? The App Exchange. What are some common dashboards categories on the App Exchange? SalesForce CRM dashboards, sales activity dashboards, service and support dashboards. What are some common dashboards categories on the App Exchange? SalesForce CRM dashboards, sales activity dashboards, service and support dashboards. Question, what are some best practices to follow when downloading a dashboard pack from the App Exchange? Answer, install the dashboard in your sandbox environment or developer org, customize the dashboards and underlying reports to meet your business needs, communicate their availability to your stakeholders for review and feedback, and consider holding informal training sessions to show people how to use them. Question, what are some best practices to follow when downloading a dashboard pack from the App Exchange? Install the dashboard in your sandbox environment or developer org, customize the dashboards and underlying reports to meet your business needs, communicate their availability to your stakeholders for review and feedback, and consider holding informal training sessions to show people how to use them. Question, how do you validate user adoption of SalesForce? Answer, test their experience to get their honest feedback. Question, how do you validate user adoption of SalesForce? Answer, test their experience and get their honest feedback. Question, what questions should you ask to validate user adoption of SalesForce? Answer, is the training preparing you to do your job using SalesForce? Does the feedback process create engagement and trust? Do you feel supported? Are we measuring the right business outcomes? Question, what questions should you ask to validate user adoption of SalesForce? Answer, is the training preparing you to do your job using SalesForce? Does the feedback process create engagement and trust? Do you feel supported? Are we measuring the right business outcomes? Question, what should you do to validate the business dashboard created meets the needs of the users? Answer, test the dashboard and get feedback from the users. Question, what should you do to validate that the business dashboards created meet the needs of the users? Answer, test the dashboards and get feedback from the users. Question, how can you measure SalesForce usage? Answer, gather feedback and measure usage through metrics like year-to-date sales, quarter-to-date sales, opportunity win-loss ratio for current and previous year, new business pipeline, pipeline by owner, lead conversion rates by source, accounts with no activities for the last 90 days. Question, how can you measure SalesForce usage? Answer, gather feedback and measure usage through metrics like year-to-date sales, quarter-to-date sales, opportunity win-loss ratio for current and previous year, new business pipeline, pipeline by owner, lead conversion rates by source, accounts with no activities in the last 90 days. Question, what is the Getting Started workbook? Answer, a worksheet to outline what's important for your company, the key questions you want to answer, and the associated metrics you can track on SalesForce. Question, what is the Getting Started workbook? Answer, a worksheet to outline what's important for your company, the key questions you want to answer, and the associated metrics you can track in Salesforce. So I think that's everything. So, this is a bit longer. All right, good. There's a question right here. As a sales representative, I need the ability to take ownership of a new lead and document the progress so I can provide consistent insight to my pipeline. Which 3 acceptance criteria are best suited for the user story example? Able to update lead status with new prospecting dead or close, access to opportunity object, assign ownership to yourself. Well, wait a second. I don't remember any of that from any of this. Oh. Is it possible that we went to the wrong one? So user success. All right, so let's go back. I just want to make sure we're in the right place. Okay. So we did this already. We're on this user story creation. Construct a user story. Criteria. I don't really remember any of that. All right, so let's just take our best guess, because maybe, I don't know. As a sales representative, I need the ability to take ownership of a new lead and document the progress so I can provide consistent insight to my pipeline. Which 3 acceptance criteria are best suited for a user story example? Okay, so I'm a sales rep. I want to take the ownership of a new lead, so I'm taking it, and I want to document the process so I can provide a consistent insight to my pipeline. Okay, what 3 acceptance criteria are best suited for the user story example? Able to update lead status with new prospecting dead or close, access to opportunity object. Did we ever even hear anything about an opportunity object? Assign ownership to yourself from the lead queue. I think it says that in the question. We're already assigning ownership. Access to lead object. Again, I don't remember object. Select 3. Oh, we have to. Okay. Assign ownership. Okay, so we have to do that. Lead documents, so I can provide consistency. Rate 3 acceptance criteria best suited for the user story. Access to lead object, access to opportunity object. I'm going to say this and get rid of A. Incorrect. Access to the opportunity object is not applicable to user story. All right. I'm sorry we got that one wrong. Actually, it says try again. Oh, well, there's only one left. So we could do this. Cool. Invest in users. Okay, so let's go down here. What is characteristics of acceptance criteria? What is characteristics of acceptance criteria? Limited to 3 testing statements, answered with only true or false, listed from easiest to hardest, only written in negative phrasing. What is characteristics of acceptance criteria? Well, I believe that question just had 3, right? But limited to 3 testing statements, you want anything that's limited. Answered with only true and false, listed from... Why do I feel like we just did something that wasn't this chapter? All right, so let's just stay there. Why is it detrimental to use an undefined user as the who in a user story? Undefined user requires multiple user stories. Acceptance criteria for an undefined user requires extra work. Intention of the user can't be clearly defined. Well, if it's an undefined user, the user can't be clearly defined. Sounds like it makes sense to me. User stories aren't meant to be written from users outside the company. So I don't know this one. What is the characteristic of acceptance criteria? Answer. Let's go with that. Oh, we got it. I really don't feel good about what just happened. So I feel like we didn't. Oh, but we're going to post it and we got the badge, right? So at the end of the day, don't be too hard on yourself. But I don't know why. I want to pull up my. Let's see something real quick. So this should be questions 30 to 40, right? So questions 30 to 40 should be 31 to 41. Right? I'm not losing my mind. Okay. What can flow? How can user stories be assisted in testing solutions? What's the most important part of writing user stories? Okay, we did all that. What is empathy research? Let's conduct. No, so that's what we're coming up on. Okay, maybe I just didn't take as good notes as I wanted to. All right, we still passed though, so let's keep going. But that's great because now I can take a look back into it, and that's what the follow-up email is for, right? All right, so let's go to, is that what's next? Innovation, customer. Yes, okay, so that's where we're going. And this is gonna be our last section today. Empathize with your customer. Okay. Ah, okay, we're in the right place. I'm absolutely certain of that. So I'm gonna drink some water. Let's do better. What is empanada? Sounds like a, well, I'm saying empanada. What is empathetic research? Empathetic research is a process of getting to know and understand an audience directly, like an anthropologist. What is empathetic research? Empathetic research is a process of getting to know and understand an audience directly, like an anthropologist. What are 3 ways to conduct empathetic research? Embodying, shadowing, and interviewing. What are 3 ways to conduct empathetic research? Embodying, shadowing, and interviewing. What are some best practices when shadowing? Look for patterns, consider dominant environmental dynamics, observe the entire process, take notes, and prepare for technical issues. What are some best practices when shadowing? Look for patterns, consider dominant environmental dynamics, observe the entire process, take notes, and prepare for technical issues. What are some best practices when interviewing? Get permission to record, keep things informal and human, ask open-ended questions, practice active listening, ask why, and don't do it alone. What are the best practices when interviewing? Get permission to record, keep things informal and human, ask open-ended questions, practice active listening, ask why, and don't do it alone. Question: what is the purpose of conducting empathetic research? The purpose of conducting empathetic research is understanding a customer's experience and create solutions that make a difference in their lives. Yeah, Leon, I think you're absolutely correct. So when I was putting this together, I decided to just put all the questions, but just do it in order. And I think what I'm going to do, well, I know I'm going to do when I go back tonight is, and I continue with this curriculum, I'm going to put each flashcard set by itself. Thank you, though. Okay, let's read that again. What is the purpose of conducting empathetic research? The purpose of conducting empathetic research is to understand a customer's experience and create solutions that make a difference in their lives. Question: what should you consider when deciding which customer segments to focus on for empathetic research? When deciding which customer segments to focus on for empathetic research, consider which segments give you the most useful information and insights into your organization's challenges. Question: what should you consider when deciding which customer segments to focus on empathetic research? Answer: when deciding which customer segments to focus on for empathetic research, consider which segments give you the most useful information and insights into your organization's challenges. Question: what are some of the best practices for conducting stakeholder interviews? Answer: when conducting stakeholder interviews, ask them about their role, their personal view on the innovation goal, their ideas for the change they want to see, and anything they feel you need to know. Question: what are some of the best practices for conducting stakeholder interviews? Answer: when conducting stakeholder interviews, ask them about their role, their personal view on the innovation goal, their ideas for the change they want to see, and anything they feel you need to know. Question: what are some of the best practices for conducting customer interviews? Answer: when conducting customer interviews, focus on uncovering the emotional and psychological drivers behind customer actions, ask open-ended questions, practice active listening, and ask why. Question: what are some of the best practices for conducting customer interviews? When conducting customer interviews, focus on uncovering the emotional and psychological drivers behind customer actions. Ask open-ended questions, practice active listening, and ask why. Question: when should you stop researching? Answer: you should stop researching when you find yourself saying, "We're not hearing anything new." Question: when should you stop researching? Answer: you should stop researching when you find yourself saying, "We're not hearing anything new." Question: what should you do after finishing your research? Answer: after finishing your research, share your stories to help others understand your customers. Create a shared understanding of the findings across all the research. Question: what should you do after finishing your research? Answer: after finishing your research, share your stories to help others understand your customers. Create a shared understanding of findings across all research. Okay, let's see what we got. That's a long section. I really hope we did a good job here. Why should you find ways to empathize with your customers through design research? To convince, now mind you, design research, we're taking the designer curriculum. So design research is another way of saying, based on what we're trying to do here, why would this work? Why should you find ways to empathize with your customers through design research? To convince your team that people care about your unconventional ideas. That sounds like not a very good Boy Scout answer. To truly understand your customer and judge if your solution will make a difference in their lives. That sounds like a really nice answer. I almost don't want to read C&D. I'm going to, but to collect evidence that supports budget requests, get out of here with that. Because their lives are super interesting and you could live vicariously through them. No, B is definitely the answer there. What are 3 common forms of empathetic research methods to gain deep insights into your customers? Embodying, shadowing, and interviewing. I remember those. I know phishing wasn't one of them. Online research reports wasn't one of them. Workshops, data mining, and workshops and data mining might be beneficial, but that's not. I don't remember those words, and if I don't remember those words, they're not part of it. Because the key is, again, I went ahead, and I don't mean to say I, like I, but this whole education is based on the fact that you never had to get confused or bogged down with the other words. In fact, these questions and answers are meant that you only know them, and if they are the best questions and answers, then you're learning in the format of the best questions and answers. And like I said, the source of where these questions and answers are coming from are highly, what's the word I'm looking for? You can have confidence in them. Friending them on social media. I don't even want to read that. Okay. Number 3, you should shadow someone to study the person without having to get permission first. Does that sound like something SalesForce wants you to do? Map their digital presence? I don't think anyone wants that. Develop empathy by helping them do their work. Directly observe their behavior in person. Okay. Study a person without giving permission. I think that's probably illegal. Map their digital presence. I don't think anyone wants their digital presence mapped. Directly observe their behavior in person. That sounds like it could be an answer, right? It could be, but is it the best one? Develop empathy by helping them do their work. There's develop empathy on an empathy section, helping. I'm sure Salesforce wants you to help them do their. This is like the most Boy Scout answer I've ever seen. Oh, I got it wrong. Okay. You should directly, I guess maybe that, because I don't think you're going to map their digital presence. Oof. Oh, God. Nothing's better than when you actually get it wrong. Okay. Take the next unit. At least we got it right on the second go around, right? Create customer archetype. But here's the thing. And this is what's so beautiful about it. The fact that I was so certain, the fact that I shared it so overtly, I can promise you I'll never get that wrong again. Like, never, ever will I get that wrong again. And that's the key. That's what studying is meant to do. Okay. So what should you do after finishing your research? I know we've read this before, but it can't hurt to read it again. After finishing your research, share your stories to help others understand your customers. Create a shared understanding of your findings across all research. Question, what is an archetype? Answer, an archetype is an ageless, genderless representation of types of people that amplify specific behavioral quality. Question, what is an archetype? Answer, an archetype is an ageless, genderless representation of types of people that amplify specific behavioral quality. Question, what is the difference between a persona and an archetype? Answer, personas are fictionalized characters in which primarily demographic characteristics are represented, while archetypes are more focused on the habits people exhibit when performing tasks. Question, what is the difference between a persona and an archetype? Answer, personas are fictionalized characteristics in which primarily demographic characteristics are represented, while archetypes are more focused on the habits people exhibit when performing tasks. Let's take a pause, because I'm pretty sure I just read that, and I have no clue what that just said. So personas are fictionalized characters in which primarily demographic characteristics are represented. Okay, so it's kind of like, here's a green person. Green person's name is Amy. All other green people exhibit these facts or these criteria. It's almost like stereotyping without actually saying the word. While archetypes are more focused on the habits people exhibit when performing tasks. Okay, but when they perform tasks, they do this. So this is what these people do, and when they do it, this is how they do it, right? Question, what are some steps for finding meaningful insight for anthropology research? Capture and cluster insights, edit and refine your patterns and themes, and synthesize for meaningful insight. Question, what are some steps for finding meaningful insight from anthropology research? Answer, capture and cluster insights, edit and refine your patterns and themes, synthesize for meaningful insight. So again, anthropologist research is really just the study of people, like why they do the things they do. So if you were going to find it meaningful, you want to find what categories you could cluster together, right? Like when everyone puts water to their mouth, they drink it. Like that's something you could put over there. If you see something different, you could edit and refine it. But at the end, you want to synthesize, okay, well, after our studies, we learned that this, and this. Question, how can archetypes be used to help a design product? Now remember, there's persona and archetypes. Archetypes are what people do when they're doing it, right? How can archetypes be used to help design a product? Archetypes can be used to help anchor app design and user experience to ensure that it delights the targeted archetypes. How can archetypes be used to help design a product? Archetypes can be used to help anchor app design and user experience to ensure that it delights the targeted archetypes. All right, we know when these people do this, they do this. So let's go ahead and study that and incorporate it. Sounds like it makes sense to me. What is the question? What is the goal of the innovation story? Answer, the goal of the innovation story is to identify standout observations and patterns that are good jump off point for ideation. What is the goal of the innovation story? Actually, I want to hear it. Okay, I was pretty sure I've never heard that word before. So the goal of the innovation story is to identify standout observations and patterns that are good for the jump-off point of ideation. No, no, no. Stop that. Question, what are some examples of archetypes in the business context? Answer, examples of archetypes in a business context are DIY, so do-it-yourselfers, those who prefer to make their things, and window shoppers. Wait, those who prefer to make their things, and window shoppers whose joy comes from dreaming of all the possibilities rather than doing. Sounds really upsetting. Question, what are some examples of archetypes in the business context? Examples of archetypes in a business context are do-it-yourselfers, those who prefer to make their own things, to make their things, and window shoppers, whose joy comes from dreaming of all the possibilities rather than doing. Question, what is the goal of future casting? Answer, the goal of future casting is to use the empathetic discovery work that helped identify the archetypes and turn into an actual strategy. Question, what is the goal of future casting? Answer, the goal of future casting is to use the empathetic discovery work that helped identify the archetypes and turn them into an actual strategy. Okay. Question, what are the 3 guest archetypes mentioned in the study guide? Answer, the 3 guest archetypes mentioned in the study guide are proud planners, wistful warriors, and dauntless delegators. Question, what are the 3 guest archetypes mentioned in the study guide? The 3 guest archetypes mentioned in the study guide are proud planners, wistful warriors, and dauntless delegators. Question, what is the goal of the research done by AquaBlue? The goal of the research done by AquaBlue is to design a new way to ensure effortless, delightful arrival. Question, what is the goal of the research done by AquaBlue? The goal of the research done by AquaBlue is to design a new way to ensure effortless, delightful arrival. Question, what are the steps for refining insights? Answer, the steps for refining insights are to keep the charter in mind, hone in on what isn't effortless and delightful for travelers today, and to look for meaningful anecdotes and what they reveal. Question, what are the steps for refining insights? Answer, the steps for refining insights are to keep the charter in mind, hone in on what isn't effortless and delightful for travelers today, and to look for meaningful anecdotes and what they reveal. Okay, great. Let's go take a test. We don't need to read any of this. See you later. Okay. What approach to synthesizing your research may reveal deep insight from your research? Okay. Review diverse quotes and try to rewrite them as one quote that represents everyone? I don't know, maybe. Go to dinner with a friend and role play your subjects to see how your friend reacts. I think that would work, but I don't remember. I didn't read that. List all things that surprise you and analyze why you were surprised by them. I like that a lot. Seek out recurring themes, including pain points, discrepancies between people's perceptions and their expressed reality. I think there's a lot of good answers there. What approach to synthesizing your research may reveal deep insights from your research? So, to reveal deep insights to who when you're the one synthesizing? So I think the only way to reveal a deep insight in a one-person analyst type of thing is to find what surprised you and why it surprised you. Because the deep insight is your insight, right? It's a first person thing. So I think that's it. When capturing and clustering your notes, always capture and cluster alone first, then present to your colleagues for validation. Look for data that confirms or upsets your existing hypothesis. Enlist the help of your interviewees in the process. Sort and discard anything that isn't immediately useful. Okay. When capturing and clustering your notes, I would say capture and cluster alone first. Yeah, you don't want it interrupted. Look for data that confirms it. No, because you're not doing the data phase. You're just trying to bring it all in very raw. Enlist the help of your interview. No, because you want it to be non-biased. Sort and discard anything that isn't immediately useful. I don't think you discard anything. I think you just bring it all in and then analyze it afterwards. What is the core difference between archetype and personas? All right. Personas have common household. No. Archetypes describe characteristics of a user type, while personas express the personality of a market. I think that might be it. Personas represent demographics and archetypes. Oh, no, that's it. There's no difference. No, we know there's a difference. What is the core purpose of an archetype? To represent behaviors and habits exhibited by a market segment through the design process? To tell stakeholders heroic stories about, no. To avoid leaving clues that might reveal the idea, no. To summarize your findings into one powerful character that anyone can, maybe. But we know it's behaviors. That's like a keyword we want to, all right, here we go. All right, I got 2 wrong, come on. What approach to synthesizing your research may reveal deep insights from your research? Okay. I would say maybe this. I guess if you're going to reveal something deep, you want to role play it. Again, I'm still thinking one person point of view. When capturing a cluster, it's always, okay. I would say sort and discard then. See what happens. Oh my God, I still got them both wrong. Okay. Let's just, now we're just looking for any answers. Okay, we got 1 right. Now, which one didn't we do? Okay, of course, the 4th one, right? Only 25 points. All right, we did not do too good on that. We need to go do better in putting those questions together. All right, though, we got the last section. I'll drink a little bit more water. All right. What is future casting? Future casting is a mashup of trends, phenomena, and predictions that create a compelling argument or case for change. Oh, wait, hold on, let's go back. What is future casting? Answer. Future casting is a mashup of trends, phenomena, and predictions that create a compelling argument or case for change. Question. What are 3 tactics of future casting? Answer. Global societal shifts, cultural trends and implications, and industry trends, evidence and implications. Question. What are 3 tactics for future casting? Answer. Global societal shifts, cultural trends and implications, and industry trends, evidence and implications. Question. What is a universal key? Answer. A universal key is a single key that unlocks all services at a hotel, such as a room key, wallet, or ticket. What is a universal key? A universal key is a single key that unlocks all services at a hotel, such as a room key, wallet, or ticket. Question. How might we question? What is how might we question? Answer. A how might we question is a question used to explore other possibilities and generate ideas when working on a design challenge. Question. What is a how might we question? Answer. A how might we question is a question used to explore other possibilities and generate ideas when working on design challenge. Question. What is a V2 MOM? V2 MOM stands for Vision, Values, Methods, Obstacles, and Measures, and is a tool used to create clarity and focus on what is important. What is a V2 MOM? V2 MOM is Vision, Values, Methods, Obstacles, and Measures, and is a tool used to create clarity, focus on what's important. I'm certain we're going to be X this, right? Like it just has to be. So V2 meaning 2 V's, right? So vision, values, and it's a mnemonic. Methods, obstacles, measures. Vision, values, methods, obstacles, and measures. We're going to come up with something good for that. I'm going to make a song or something. Question. What is the purpose of a steering committee? Answer. The purpose of a steering committee is to provide guidance and direction to an innovation team. That sounds like it makes sense. Question. What is the purpose of a steering committee? Answer. The purpose of a steering committee is to provide guidance and direction to an innovation team. 7. What is an archetype? I think we know this one. An archetype is a character type that represents a group of people in a way that helps to better understand their needs, desires, and behaviors. What is an archetype? An archetype is a character type that represents a group of people in a way that helps better understand their needs, desires, and behaviors. Question: what is a trend? Answer: a trend is a general direction in which something is developing or changing. Question: what is a trend? Answer: a trend is a general direction in which something is developing or changing. Question: what is a phenomenon? Answer: a phenomenon is an event or occurrence of a particular kind that is observable. Question: what is a phenomena? Answer: a phenomena is an event or occurrence of a particular kind that is observable. Question: what is a prediction? Answer: a prediction is a statement about what will happen in the future, especially one made by someone who has special knowledge. Question: what is a prediction? Answer: a prediction is a statement about what will happen in the future, especially one made by someone with a special knowledge. All right, let's take our last test. Which of the following is the best way to describe future casting? Predicting the future, envisioning the future we want to create, fishing for future opportunities that give us a competitive advantage, a process that minimizes the sense of urgency, and burning case or change. Definitely not any of the last two. I think so predicting the future is something different than envisioning the future we want to create. Predicting the future sounds like, what's your prediction? Future casting is a unique word, and I would imagine you're casting the future, right? So envisioning the future we want to create. Number two, why should you future cast before start ideating? So SalesForce, I think, just makes up a whole bunch of words. We're starting with idea. So I understand the word, but I don't think any of them are real words. And I could be wrong and look like a complete buffoon, but ideating, what? Why should you future cast before you start ideating? To avoid wasting time and resources if the problem won't even exist in the few years, to future-proof your innovation work, to find new challenges to solve, to ensure that you have credibility as thought leaders. Okay, let's read the question again. Why should you future cast before you start ideating? Okay, so when you're future casting, right? Like, what's their definition? Envisioning the future you want to create. You have to make sure that the future that you want to create is possible, that it makes sense, to avoid wasting resources. Problem. Yeah, you don't. If you're trying to solve, say, global warming 500 years from now, well, will it still be a problem 500 years from now? So you wouldn't start putting ideas in place for that. To future-proof your innovation work sounds like it could be a good answer. I think number one's better. To find new challenges. No, okay. Which I find is a good example of an activity that helps you futurecast. Collect the latest weird and wacky cultures. No. Tweet predictions to see if people retweet them, or if the press picks them up, maybe. Create mock-ups of future products and experiences, then put them on an e-commerce site to see if anyone will buy them. Yeah, I like that. Attend to Burning Man. I don't even know what that is. Tweet predictions. So here's the thing. I also don't think Fortune 500 companies would use verbs from other Fortune 500 companies, right? Like, tweet predictions means I would need to know what Twitter is. If I don't know what Twitter is, I need to go to Twitter. Now, whether my experience is good or bad, I don't think Salesforce wants to take on the responsibility that they led me there. So I think C is a better answer, but I also think it's a safer answer too, if that makes sense. Okay. 4, how will you future cast impact your innovation process? Let's take a step back. Future casting. So the process of, okay, this is the future I want to create. How am I going to create this? Is how I create it. How does that impact my innovation process? Well, if I have to do this to get there, I'm going to focus here, right? So it will weed out the teammates who don't share our vision for the future. Yeah, it will. It will manage the expectations that you will know the emerging trends even while you obsess. No, you're never going to know that. It will stretch your team to create a bolder and more relevant how might we quest to drive innovation. There was a question on that, and that seems like a strong sentence that they're going to want to include. So we'll keep that in mind. It will find startups that the company no, it's definitely not that. Okay, how will FutureCast impact your innovation process? It will weed out teammates who don't share our vision for the future, or it will stretch your team to create a bolder, more relevant how might we question to drive innovation. I think C is a smidge better than A, and it also has the benefit of the how might we in it. Someone go to sleep. I got the first three wrong. Which of the following is the best way to describe future casting, predicting the future? That was the other one. Why should you future cast before you start ideating? To future-proof your innovation work. Which of the following is a good example of how an activity that helps you future cast? I guess B. I don't know. Okay, see, it wasn't B. That's a good thing. Okay, so it's not one or two. Which of the following is the best way to describe future casting? Fishing for future opportunities that will give us... Actually, it does kind of make sense on a third go-around. Which of the following is a good example of an activity that helps you future cast? I don't know what Burning Man is. I don't imagine them telling me to go attend an event. Well, we got it. Okay. So I want to go ahead and, all right, so now we're on to tomorrow, which is, okay, let's move back a little bit further. So tomorrow is innovation ideation and prototyping, innovation solution, UX research basics. Can we get through all this? Yeah, let's finish it all tomorrow. Okay. So here's the thing. What did we learn? A, flashcards work really, really well. B, when you go ahead and get a question that you did not complete on your flashcard, that is a question that you then write down for future. Now, the reason I say that, although not having done it right in front of you, is because those tests that we took are going to show which answers we got right or wrong in a look back. So we can always look back and say, oh, what were the questions I got wrong? Oh, I got this wrong, I got that wrong. Then you make a flashcard of them. When you take a flashcard of the questions you got wrong, plus the flashcards of the entire ones you had, you now have a system that you're not going to get any wrong in the future. More so than that, when you go ahead and do the super duper studying that isn't flashcard related, when you get to the final test, you start taking, because we're going to have exam prep, like we have actual exams that are going to prep us for the actual certification exam. That exam, when we get to question one, it'll say A, B, C, and D. Whatever we think A is, if we think it's the right answer or if we think it's the wrong answer, we write down, this is the wrong answer because. Same thing with B, same thing with C, same thing with D. Meaning when we find the answer we think is correct, we're going to say we think this is correct because. If we end up being incorrect, like we got the wrong one, after the exhausting amount of note cards we did, after the exhausting amount of testing we've done, after the exhausting amount of hours we studied together every day, if we get one of those wrong, it's really dwindling down to the last ones that we would possibly even get wrong. And to be able to identify them and solve it before you actually take the test, this is a complete recipe of how everyone's going to pass this test. You just got to put the time in. And again, once you pass it, you have the certification that's worth $122,000 a year. You can then do whatever you want. So I'm going to go. I want to make sure that I put the follow-up email together. I want to make sure that I actually edit the video today and not edit in the middle, just trim it to where it started, because I think I wasted a little bit of time this morning or at the beginning of the call. Yeah, so tomorrow's going to be a better day than today, but not as great as the following day. So love everyone, and I'll see you tomorrow, and really be proud of yourselves. You guys did an amazing job. Bye.